As of today, Raila Amolo Odinga came back in the country after he was deployed by President William Ruto to South Sudan to negotiate between the President of South Sudan, Salva Kiir Mayardit, and his Deputy President or Vice President, Machar. Now, Raila's tour in South Sudan was a total flop and a total failure. Why? A man that is respected all over the continent of Africa as a negotiator and a peace envoy is denied access to South Sudan by the president, knowing that the country Kenya, under the regime of President Mwai Kibaki, was the key player in making and recognizing South Sudan as a republic. Now, this is what is happening. Raila was sabotaged. The sabotage came from President William Ruto. Now, Raila is being played right, left, and center by William Ruto. Why am I saying this? You know, my brothers and sisters who have supported Raila Amolo Odinga with their life, they always believe that whoever says Raila is right deserves the upper hand. But let me remind you, William Ruto is not a saint that you can believe he will just be there allowing Raila Amolo Odinga to run errands in the country anyhow as the president or as the co-president. William Ruto gave Raila Amolo Odinga this job to keep Raila Amolo Odinga occupied with the peace negotiation in Sudan as the IGAD envoy. Even before giving Raila Amolo Odinga this task, the person that was supposed to take up this role was Musalia Mudavadi as the prime cabinet secretary and the minister of foreign affairs in the country. But Mudavadi received intel that warned him of any intervention in the Southern Sudan matter. Why? The countries around East Africa and the whole of the Central Africa at large, and even in the North African part of Kenya, part of Africa, knows that nobody currently wants anything to do with the regime of President William Ruto, not only inside the country, but even outside the country. Why? I tell you, Rutos Sabotage Raila Amolo Odinga in this matter with this reason. Salva Kiir Mayardit, being the president of South Sudan, has a regime to protect. Are we together? He has a country to keep under wraps. The military general was killed, is believed to have been killed by the militants that are linked to one Riek Machar, his vice president. So he went ahead to arrest him. And why can't they listen to anything coming from Kenya right now? Why can Salva Kiir put the stake of his country on the hands of Kenya and in the hands of Raila Amolo Odinga and William Ruto? Let me give you some reasons. Recently, the RSF of Sudan has been parading themselves as the rightful government of Sudan all over the Republic of Kenya. President William Ruto has hosted a defiant general who want to form a government that is contrary to the constitution of Sudan. Leave about the Southern Sudan. We're speaking about Sudan. Now, RSF being hosted in Kenya, being given special treatment and VIP treatment by President William Ruto and Raila Amolo Odinga, puts Salva Kiir Mayardit in a state that he cannot trust Kenya. Because the Kenyan government knows that the Sudanese armed forces are trying in every way to keep their country guarded in the right direction and protect the lives of the people of Sudan. But the president of Kenya hosted General HEMEDTI in Kenya as gave him the treatment as if he is the president of Sudan. Are we together? And this is a person that is forming a subsequent government to that of to the rightful government of Sudan. Ruto gave them the go-ahead to sign charters to declare themselves as the right government of Sudan. Yet he knows that there is a government that is there in Sudan. Apart from that, Sudan, Ruto is involved in businesses with the said general who is destabilizing his country. How can Salva Kiir, my-headed, believe that William Ruto and Raila Odinga have the right interest of the people of South Sudan at heart, yet he is allowing a militia to form the government, to form a subsequent government in his own country? Salva Kiir knows if Riek Machar is supposed to defect and even start fighting the government through his militias, because the situation currently in South Sudan is very fragile. The tensions in Southern Sudan are very high. Then he cannot allow Riek Machar to be set free by Raila Odinga and William Ruto, because they will allow Riek Machar to come back to escape to Kenya, and they will give him a place to stay in Kenya where he will start strategizing on how he will overthrow the government of Salva Kiir Mayardit. So from the word go, William Ruto knew that sending Raila Odinga there was a sabotage and a failure of Raila Odinga, which proves that it was clear that he was not the right fit to win the African Union chairmanship position. And even apart from that, Raila Odinga, before even visiting Southern Sudan, he went to Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. Ruto sent him to Museveni first before going to South Sudan. Why? Why said Raila Odinga to Museveni? What is Museveni's play in South Sudan? We all know Museveni has been the negotiator and the key player to unite Raila Odinga to William Ruto. And I tell you, without any doubt, that things are not going to be normal between Raila Odinga and William Ruto in the next coming few months, if William Ruto does not give Raila Odinga the rightful position that Raila believes he deserves. This sending him as an errand boy here and there, yet he is secretly sabotaging the missions that Raila Odinga would have overseen and make them become successful and a legacy for him as he exits the politics, proves that Raila Odinga cannot even be trusted to vie even for the UN position if the UN position is brought to this side of Africa. So William Ruto, you can't believe him, you can't trust him. One thing, Raila Odinga landed in South Sudan and went straight to Statehouse to meet with Salva Kiir. Salva Kiir told Raila, "Thank you for visiting me, but you will never see Riek Machar, who is under arrest." Raila did not meet with Vice President Rebecca Garang. The funny part is that Mzee Raila said he has briefed dictator Museveni about his successful discussion with Salva Kiir. What is the difference between Museveni, who is currently holding and torturing Dr. Kizza Besigye in Uganda, and the likes of Akina Salva Kiir? But I think Salva Kiir has every right to protect his leadership and the dignity of the people of South Sudan to prevent the government from being overthrown by these militias. Because, you know, even the United States has tried to negotiate with Salva Kiir. The other international bodies have tried to negotiate, including the UN, with Salva Kiir to make sure that he sees the importance of releasing RIEKACHAR. But he has refused. Who does Raila Amolo Odinga think he is, that William Ruto gives him this job and he takes it up and decides to go there to negotiate? It was a total failure from the first point that William Ruto was involved in this business, because there is nothing that William Ruto can try to sell to Salva Kiir and he buys it, because he knows this man has allowed a militia from the other Sudan to form a government from his country. How will I listen to him? He might even do the same to me. Tell me what you think about this analysis. Leave your comment on the comment section. See you in our next video. This is the Kenyan Daily Report.